You're right, Sam, mate. You're looking a bit down.
I don't know, Chiv. What of us not having a midweek game? I just don't think we've got anything to talk about in our next podcast.
Portsmouth Football Club have announced they have entered into a 70-day exclusivity agreement with the American billionaire.
Is Mickey Mouse coming to Pompey?
I think we've got to approach this in a really positive way.
In Fratton Park and the boys are having fun. Well, football time, get the time, Pompey, here we come. Cause we got a team, know what I mean, we'll follow them till the end. Roar, roar, that's what we're for, down at the Fratton end. Cause Pompey, you're the team. Pompey, Pompey, you're the cream. Pompey, you're the greatest, and we'll keep following you, we'll keep following Pompey, following the boys in blue. We'll keep following Pompey, following the boys in blue.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're listening, and welcome to another Pompey podcast brought to you by Pompey Memes with myself, Sam and Chiv. No midweek game for us to talk about, however, plenty more on the agenda. We talk Newport, Mr. Eisner, and the possibility of a potential takeover. Also, all normal features, the Pompey quiz, Dinlo of the week, and Chiv's stat corner, plus a small bulletin feature we've added called a fortnight at Fratton, before moving on discussing Pompey's long trip up north to Hartlepool. So as always, let's listen back to what happened when Pompey played the former Welsh Cup champions, Newport County.
Not collected by a Newport man, it's only collected by Baker, who's played a lovely ball to find Bennett one-on-one, and informed Bennett finds the net for Pompey, 1-0 to the Blues. Here's Cal Naismith profiting, here's Connor Chaplin, advantage played by the referee. Kyle Bennett now, can he double his goal tally? Danny Rose in the box, Bennett again, they're working it well inside the box here, Pompey, clipped in towards Naismith! There's the header, there's the second, and it's Naismith and Bennett. The two informed players are the two scorers so far this afternoon. Marlon Jackson, will he cut onto his right? He's trying to get away from Matt Clark and make an angle for a shot, and David Ford has to save. Lands on the edge of the box for Randall. Still with Newport County, clipped in towards the back post. There's the header, and there's one back for the Exiles. And Tom Davis fuming the offside flag wasn't raised, but that doesn't matter. And there's a long ball over the top. Here's Marlon Jackson, danger for Pompey, blocked by David Ford. And the big Irishman using his experience. Got two Newport players with him, and I think the boys are going to try and waste some time, and rightly so. Job done for Pompey. Another 3 points in the bag, another home win for the Blues.
So those were the highlights from Pompey's 2-1 victory against Newport County at Fratton Park. Good win, Sam?
It was a win, but any win's good actually, to be fair at the moment. Over the line, job done. It wasn't the best Pompey performance, and it was quite nervy in the final 15 odd minutes. I think some of the players showed that in the end, but at the end of the day, I'll happily take any win for the next couple of months. 2 months?
Yeah, I don't really care how the wins come.
No, me neither.
They were a bogey team, haven't they? So we haven't beat them at Fratton Park.
Yeah, I was worried about. I think it was the 70s.
79, I think.
Yeah, that Newport last lost at Fratton Park, and they're not a good team. Like, I'm not going to give them any credit because they're not a good team, but I still was worried that they might get a result, especially after they got a point at home against Luton, somebody else that's trying to get up to the next division. So if they thought that they could get a point off Luton, they were probably thinking we could go do the same against Pompey at Fratton Park.
I think the atmosphere was really nervy at times, especially after they scored. But you can completely understand that. I mean, last year's result was just a catastrophe. Losing 3-0 at home to a team of that quality was devastating last year. And we are getting nervy. It was a must-win, and I think people were genuinely just a bit nervous. But we got over the line, and at this stage of the season, all that's going to go down as is 3 points. It doesn't matter how you get it. It's 3 points on the board.
But you're right, it was only nervy when they scored. I think the first half was pretty comfortable. They didn't really offer much, not that I can remember.
No, they were a very, very average side. Nothing at all. But you knew, with the wind in our favour first half, you knew that second half they were just going to play hoofball.
But the one thing that, and this is nothing to do, but I'm one of these people that when we attack the Fratton end in the first half, I think, I don't like that, because if we need momentum, you get momentum by attacking the Fratton end, and if you're attacking away from the Fratton end in the second half when you need us most, we could go lose the first half, but if you go win the second half by more, you've won the game. And I always think that's the biggest part, that's the time for momentum, that's the time for the fans backing. But when you're in front of the Milton end, in front of all these 150 Welsh fans who are, I'm not going to say what they are because I can't stand Newport, they are a vile club, and I can't wait for them to go down and hopefully never come back to the Football League. But it's harder, I think, to attack the Milton end than it is to attack the Fratton end.
I think for me the only difference it makes is when it gets to like the final dying embers of a game and we're chasing a goal. Then I think going towards the Fratton end, especially when you get a corner in front of the Fratton end in the last few minutes, that is a significant increase in volume and atmosphere. But other than that, I don't think it's too bothered. But
well, it won't make a difference with us if we got a corner in front of the Fratton end and the Milton end, because we can never beat the first man. So that one's irrelevant.
Controversial.
Not controversial.
Well, if we do beat the first man, we do have, of course, Owen Doyle or Ian Doyle, depending who you speak to.
It was Stevenage, wasn't it? That he was called Ian Doyle, but we don't remember Stevenage. That didn't happen.
Yep. So we have Doyle in there, and of course he went off injured. Got injured in front of the Fratton end. Did his groin.
Out for 2
Surprised
weeks.
he stayed on as long as he did. You could tell he was gone as soon as he did it. You could tell he was gone. You don't run groin injuries off. How do you feel about that? Do you think that's going to have a big impact on our season?
A lot of people will say, "Oh, that's fine because he hasn't, he's not scoring on paper. He's not scoring goals, so therefore he brings nothing." I think it is frustrating because he has added so much more to Pompey's game, and the fact that he brings those three behind him into play who are scoring goals. There's a lot more goal scorers behind him now because we've got a striker up top that can go and chase the ball, that can apply pressure. I think we will miss him. However, we do have other capable strikers. Nicky Kabamba came on.
Well, you did a poll, didn't you, earlier on Pompey memes, and the results of that?
So the poll, as of 8:30 Monday evening, Connor Chaplin was ahead on 39%, followed by Nicky Kabamba on 33%. My choice, Noel Hunt, only had a quarter of the votes with 25%. Curtis Main, 3%, who is back training at the moment.
I can't believe those results, to be honest. Why would you want to play Chaplin when he starts games, he goes missing? So when he comes on as a sub, I always think he's going to be full of energy, he can grab us a goal, and I like him coming on. But when he starts, he constantly goes missing in games. And your second choice, you've got a choice of Hunt, who's a proven, experienced forward, especially with these tight games. But people are going for Kabamba. That's a lot of pressure on a young guy's shoulders.
He did do well when he came on against Steve.
He did okay. Yeah, he did well. Yeah, fair play to him. He did okay. But would you want to trust him to supply or be a target man for our last 7 absolutely crucial games?
Order yours.
No, why would you do that?
I'd go Hunt.
Yes.
I'd go Kabamba.
Yes.
Chaplin.
Yes. Chaplin's an impact sub. He's not a starter.
Yep.
Goes missing. He tries to link up. What he does, Chaplin, is he tries to link up with the centre forward or whoever's linking up with him. So, and he kind of goes missing. He doesn't supply the outlet that he should.
I've got quite a controversial view on Connor Chaplin, so I will keep that to myself until the end of the season.
Yeah, we're not doing any negative. If we are looking at positive, David Ford's performance.
Yep. Again, the past few weeks he has pulled some incredible saves at the top draw, and again he done that Saturday. We were 2-1 up, and there was an error by Davis, who didn't have the best of games. I don't think he is. Well, we had to play him there. We didn't have anyone else. But he did have a bad game, and it did mean that there were a couple of occasions when Newport were bearing down on the goal. But Ford saved one which went out for the corner, but then obviously the goal went in. But there was another one where Davis missed it. Player tried lobbing Ford, but it just didn't come off. Ford was big. Didn't you say Saturday that actually some of the Pompey players were asked who is the hardest player in the Pompey team, and they all say David Ford?
Yeah, when the official club do their YouTube roommates videos or something like that, or alternative job videos or something, one of the questions was like who would be a bouncer or a doorman, and they all said Ford.
Would you expect that?
No,
Not when you look.
but we don't know him on what he's like at training. But what you were saying a minute ago about him, he's got this ability of making really crucial saves in tight games. So I'm thinking like your 2-1s or when it's goalless, he'll pull out a save which will then be forgot about in the following victory. So we'll go on to win. Some fans will recall it and say, "Oh, do you remember at 0-0 Ford made that save?" That guy has done exceptionally well this season. I'm really chuffed for him. He's done really well. Despite he got quite a lot of criticism around Christmas time. People were saying that he should be dropped. For me, he's been superb, really good, and he's saved a lot of points for us this season.
And you said off air that actually he's part of the difference this year from last year.
Massively so. You remember Murphy last year?
Who?
Exactly.
No, don't remember.
So balls into the box, every ball, you big intake of breath because you just knew. But Ford is very good in his box. Yes, he has his weakness. He's not as mobile. Quick snapshots from outside the box, as we saw on Saturday against Leyton Orient at home. He conceded like that, a quick snapshot from outside the box. And a Newport guy, the Newport sub, did exactly the same, and he nearly got caught out again, just pulling out a last gasp save, pushing it around the post. We're talking League 2 standard here. For what we are in League 2, he's quality, and he did really, really well. Not going to get all the man of the matches, is he? Because we're an offensive side.
I thought he should have had some man of the matches very early on in the season when Gary Roberts was getting them all. But that, again, it's just all about opinions.
Your goalies tend to get man of the match when you're a poorer side, like mid-table or below. Because we're a promotion hunting side, your man of the matches tend to go with the goal scorers.
Well, the man of the match is always done by the sponsors who, let's be honest, if they've got the choice of Connor Chaplin, who scored in a 1-0 win, even though Ford made some horrendous saves, they're going to get a picture at the end of the game. Who are they going to want a picture with, David Ford or Connor Chaplin?
Well, exactly.
But you alluded to the atmosphere being nervous in the second half. First half, though, it was a really good atmosphere up there with Grimsby recently in Blackpool.
Yeah, it's decent. I definitely felt nervy.
But that's because of who we were playing and the approach that you thought they were.
I think just the whole situation, to be honest. The whole
4 points behind.
It's just the fact that we know that as a community club we've been building to this for years. It was heartbreaking last year in the playoffs. The last few weeks it's slow, it's just ticking over right, we're picking up points, and I don't remember so many times looking at my phone at the other team's results and they're just all dropping points. Last season, every time we had a good result, I'd get out my phone, look at the scores, and the other teams have won, which more or less makes your win pointless.
Plymouth last minute goal, Oxford last minute goal.
Just this year is just so different, and I don't think we deal well with positive situations as a club. We don't know how to deal with it. When it's going well, the whole Fratton in sat there thinking, when is this going to go wrong? We've got to change that, though, for the upcoming home games. We cannot portray nervousness onto the players in the upcoming games.
We've started putting a curfew on you, haven't we, with your phone, saying don't check it till half time.
40th minute, because every other bugger in the stadium using the internet. But yeah, I'm not allowed to check half times till 40, and not allowed to check full times till 80.
Last comment about the actual game itself and an individual, or two rather, Kyle Bennett and Naismith back in the team. Again, great to have him back, but Kyle Bennett.
What a difference when they're in our side.
I'm eating my words.
You are, completely, yeah.
And you know what? I will wash his car if he reaches 10 goals this season.
Wash his car?
I'll wash his car.
You called him a CUNT for about 12 months.
I've never called him that. I've always loved him. Kyle Bennett he's the man.
He's certainly, as we've alluded to in the last podcast, I was saying that by Christmas I was saying to be honest, his time's up. But he's done so well, really well. So's Naismith. The only thing about Naismith is I think at times he's too predictable, so he'll run into the player, and I find him a bit lazy as well at times.
He was a little bit frustrating at times actually against Newport.
But I'm not even going to be honest.
It was nice to have him back anyway.
We've got 7 games to go. He's making a difference in games. I'm not going to get on his back.
And Christian Burgess is back for the next game against Hartlepool. I know I just said one last thing, but Paul Cook. Down the crook. Paul Cook in the crook.
Paul Cook in the crook, yeah. Nice to see that. We missed out, didn't we?
Well, yeah, because you didn't want to go pub.
Yeah, because I don't want the wife to chew my bollocks off.
Fair enough. So that game at Fratton Park finished Portsmouth 2, Newport County 1.
The Pompey Quiz with Sam and Chiv. The Pompey Quiz with Sam and Chiv. The Pompey Quiz with Sam and Chiv. The Pompey Quiz with Sam and Chiv.
Okay, so this week we're joined by Jake Smith, known as Jake Pompey Smith on Twitter. How you doing, Jake?
Yeah, doing very well, thanks.
Okay, feeling confident for the quiz?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how many I'll get.
Okay, right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go. Your time starts now. What year was the club formed?
1898.
Which former Premier League club did Ender Stevens play for?
Aston Villa.
As it stands before the Hartlepool match, who was Pompey's top goal scorer this season?
Gary Roberts.
How many goals has Pompey's top goal scorer got?
8.
Before Son Dinlo, who are Pompey's kit manufacturers?
Kappa.
Which League 2 team plays at Bloomfield Road?
Blackpool.
If you combine the Carlisle home and away scores this season, what aggregate score do you get?
4-1 to Pompey.
Name one of the sides Pompey have lost to home and away this season.
Doncaster Rovers.
Name one of the sides currently in the playoff places chasing Pompey.
Stevenage.
Who were Paul Cook's first league opponents in the Pompey manager role?
Dagenham Redbridge.
Oh, and that's 1 minute. That's equal. Yeah, that's 8. That's 8. Well done. No, that's really good. So you're equal. You're equal top now.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Obviously, there's a massive prize coming your way. Maybe half a shandy if you meet us in the crook one, mate. So well done. No, that's really good. So the questions that you got wrong. Who is Pompey's top goal scorer? That's Cal Naismith. And how many goals has he got? He's got 10.
Has he really?
Yeah. So apart from that, you got them all right. Oh wow, I'm
enough.
really impressed. Did better than I did in the rehearsal. So well done.
Fair play. Yeah.
So before we let you go, mate, I just wondered if you could just answer a couple of questions for us. Just wondering what your predictions are for the rest of the season. Is it going to be promotion or heartbreak?
I think it'll be tight. You know the Pompey way, but no, we'll get promotion. We'll get that third spot. I think Doncaster and Plymouth are too far up there to catch them now, but I think we're just at the right level to keep Stevenage at bay.
Okay, when do you think we'll secure promotion? Which match?
I'm thinking Mansfield away, second last game of the season.
Funny that we were saying that before the show. we reckon then as well if we're going to do it. Okay, and what about your player of the season? Anyone particular for you?
I mean, so far I can see why people would say Naismith or Bennett. I can see why people would say no because it's only been the last kind of month or two they've been shining, but I think throughout the whole season, I think Matt Clark's done really, really well for me.
No, I agree. It's been quality.
He's been really solid at the back, yeah.
No, I go with that as well. Okay, mate. Well, thank you very much for joining us today.
Yeah,
really appreciate it, and well done for being joint top.
Yep, that's my really claim to fame now.
All right, catch you soon.
Yep, see you later on. Bye.
The Pompey Quiz with Sam and Chiv. The Pompey Quiz with Sam and Chiv. The Pompey Quiz with Sam and Chiv. The Pompey Quiz with Sam and Chiv.
So that was Jake who joined us later today, and he joins Josh at the top of our quiz leaderboard with 8 out of 10, so well done to him. So now we're going to move on to our new feature, which is called Fortnight at Fratton. It's where Sam and I take you back through the last 2 weeks and we talk about what's gone on at Fratton Park.
So, first off, a fortnight ago, Pompey Ladies dicked Scummers in the Hampshire Cup final 6-3 at Havant and Waterlooville's Lee Park. Well done, ladies.
Again at Havant, Pompey Reserves beat Sheffield United 1-0 thanks to a Nicky Kabamba goal.
The Pompey Trust announced that shareholders will have a vote in the takeover deal.
The Reserves have drawn Colchester United in the next round of the Cup, scheduled for Monday the 3rd of April, so get yourselves down there.
And Christian Burgess has been nominated for the PFA Player in the Community Award.
So that was your fortnight at Fratton.
Billionaire Michael Eisner is in takeover talks with Pompey.
Heard a rumour.
What are your thoughts? Well, it's a minefield though, really, isn't it? So
it is, yeah. It's a tricky one. Everyone's got their own views. I kind of was trying to sort out my own views on it in my head whilst trolling through the hundreds of tweets on it that obviously dominated my Twitter feed all week. But the biggest thing that concerns me isn't the actual prospect of the deal itself. It's how quickly people have been willing to jump into either camp. So people are literally either jumping in bed with the guy and saying, yeah, this is good, we should do this, or people are the opposite, saying, no, we shouldn't do this deal, it's not for us. We know nothing of the deal. Nothing whatsoever. Why are people so eager to jump onto either side of it without knowing anything about the deal? He has got a history though, hasn't he, from previous sports clubs?
yeah, baseball and ice hockey.
So, I mean, I don't know, it's nervy times. I mean, I'm not swayed either way. I'm on the fence till we hear what he has to say. But what I would say is that significant people that I trust, both officials in the club and people outside the club that we've spoken to, have all said positive things about him. I haven't yet to hear anything negative about him from anyone, any significant person that I trust so far.
Mick Williams, Micah Hall. Those two?
Yeah, I'm not naming the others.
Bob Beach did a really good article.
Yeah, Bob Beach did a good article, yeah. So those people are trusted names throughout as Portsmouth fans and in our community. They're known names, they're trusted names. And they've had wise words to say about the deal. And whereas they're not saying that we should just jump straight in, we obviously need the deal that's right for the club. There's positive vibes coming from people who understand a lot more about a club takeover and as a business deal, which it is a business deal, than we do.
And Trevor Birch is coming back in to oversee the takeover
Yeah,
negotiations as well.
And he is, you know, one of the reasons why we still have a club. So I'm pleased that he is coming back in.
But it's positive, isn't it, the fact that a potential investor has got this far through the vetting process. I mean, there's a lot of what we're saying has already been said, and we don't want to go over it too much. But at the moment, to get this far, surely that in its own sign that this deal. I'm not saying let's go ahead and do it, because we don't. If he comes in and says, okay, I'll give you £1 million for your club, I'd tell him to piss off.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. People they're willing to say, yeah, let's go ahead. But hang on a minute. What happens if he wants 100% of the club and he wants to own Fratton Park?
I think he does want 100% of the club, doesn't he?
We don't know that. That's rumour.
Another rumour is that he's not going to be taking out loans. He's going to be...
There's lots of things to consider here. What we don't want is loans levied against the club. So if he leaves, we would have to pay back the loans that he has taken out under our name.
Which is why it's so hard to discuss it, because a lot of it is speculation. Something that we can confirm, though, because it has come from the news, is that he does want the opportunity to meet with shareholders, which in itself, that's just such a brilliant ethos to have, and to come into a club that you don't know, just to be able to say, I'll sit down with the shareholders, I'll meet you, I'll hear what you have to say.
But if he's got any sort of PR team behind him, or has been advised wisely by our current, Mark Catlin, Ian McGuinness, etc., then he is going to focus heavily on his relationship with the fans. Because the issue is that if he doesn't impress the fans at the shareholders meeting, he won't get the club. And it's as simple as that. He's got to impress us. There's a lot of us sat on the fence. We need to hear the right things, and we need to know that what he says is sincere. I'd like to think that between us as a set of supporters, we would be able to spot it if he was BSing his way through the fans' interactions and just literally, I'll go along, I'll say what they want me to say, and I'll walk out of there with a deal. that I'm going to be very, very guarded against that when I hear him speak to the fans.
And a lot of the national media, because I will listen to sports radios at work, are saying, why Pompey, out of all the teams that they could go to, if he's got all this money, why isn't he looking at championship clubs? Why isn't he looking at teams that are already in the Premier League? And I think this tweet, that I don't know if you did see it earlier, might be a reason. Has anyone considered that Michael Eisner may become a fan of Pompey and be hooked like the rest of us? We all caught the bug. He's turned up to games in the past.
That's the absolute dream scenario. That you have a foreign person come in, and we've all done it. I fell in love with the club the same way. So you can say that in your wildest dreams, this guy's come along to a game, having heard about the club through Mark Catlin on American radio. So he's come over, he's gone to a game, he's fallen in love with the club, and then wants to buy it. I don't know. I'm highly sceptical of that. I don't know what, at this stage, having not heard him publicly speak, I'm highly sceptical of that. Guys like him don't tend to operate because they fall in love with something. They tend to see it as a business deal. He must see some sort of business deal coming out of that. Otherwise, I cannot see how he is just going to pump money into something he's had a little love affair with. I don't know. Do you agree?
I've really tried staying away from it because we don't know much at the moment. It's so hard. I'll tell you what, we'll do an hour-long podcast when we know more about it, because we can talk about it. At the moment, it is just, I don't know, a lot of people are mentioning the fact that he's 75, so this guy, and it's not being horrible, but this guy's not going to be around forever. But he has mentioned that it's his son, who's a passionate soccer fan. He's going to pass it down to his son, because his son is so passionate about football. So, it could be Eisner Jr. in a decade's time that's running the club. Which,
well, what we don't want, I think, my biggest fear is that he takes over the club and he's okay for the first year. So that's what, I would expect. It would probably be okay for the first year. And then all of a sudden you start seeing little changes pre-season. So you see he wants to do a badge change. He wants to do a shirt change. He wants to influence the way we market and things like that. And that would really concern me. That's what I don't want. I don't want them to franchise our club, Americanise our club. That would concern me a great deal. I mean, when he owned the hockey team, he made a film out of them. I'm not interested in that. Not interested.
You don't want Pompey the movie?
I'm not interested.
Made by Disney?
It's not what I want. I want a community club that is financially stable. We're not, obviously, if we're pushing championship level and above, we're going to be losing a bit of money. But I don't want reckless spending. I just want steady, good progression, good progress on the stadium, good links to the community. Not interested in a bloody Disney film about the club.
So you don't want a whole new world then?
No, I bloody don't.
Okay. It's a bit of a jungle book, this one, but... do you know what? I could have had,
I'm sick of the Mickey Mouse references this week.
Yeah, but we're a Mickey Mouse club.
You're breaking my heart.
Going back to what you were saying about the franchising, that's something that the presidents are going to be discussing with him, and he is a fan of the history. That's one thing that he said is why he was interested in Pompey. The history, that's something that we don't want to leave. We've had previous owners that have gone into behind the scenes and they've got rid of all the Pompey history, all the furniture, something that fans will think it's nothing to, but it's part of the club's history. I'll tell you what I want.
Guydermack, who stripped out the board.
Yeah, exactly. And they got rid of the HMS Warrior portrait, which fortunately we've got back now in the victory. But that is something that is likely to be safeguarded in these negotiations. So I don't think we will be turned into a franchise. We're not going to become Red Bull Disney Portsmouth.
Well, that's what I worry about. That's what I'm concerned about. I don't want that. We'll have to see. I don't think we should speculate anymore. One thing that I did tweet about in the week, I'm very, very disappointed about the timing of the announcement, but I'm hearing rumours that it was forced on the club due to the fact that he wants to take over done in the summer.
Someone else knew about the story and Neil Allen had to publish. It wouldn't have looked right if it was published from a non-Portsmouth related source. If it came from the Sun...
Well, I heard he wanted to take over done by the summer. Therefore, in order to do that, and therefore start progressing.
I think it will
off the field works
coincide. I think it will coincide. If it does happen, it will coincide. We'll get promoted. A couple of weeks later, boom. 100 million, Messi signs for Pompey.
I'm not interested in all that. Not interested.
Messi and Minnie Mouse.
Not for me. We'll have to wait and see. Mr. Optimistic, I'm not having it. Till I spoke to him, I'm not having it. We'll wait and see what it's all about.
Well, if you want, we can try and book in a private session with him at the Shepherd's Crook.
Well, Pompey memes, we are a big name.
Well known. So to all our millions of listeners out there, please tweet Michael Eisner and say Pompey memes need to sit down. He needs to fund us. We need more money for our jingles. Speaking of jingles, it's time for this.
Dinlo of the week.
So, time for Dinlo of the week, and what with Pompey beating Newport County is actually, I think it's fair to say, it's been pretty quiet.
Shock horror. It's the first time for everything.
It is, but there is this Dinlo of the week is actually quite a serious din, because on Twitter on Saturday there was a female Pompey fan that tweeted out that she was abused in the North Stand for being a woman, and then when her friends confronted the bloke, he then turned on them and was fairly violent and threatening towards them. So it's actually quite a serious one, this one. There is no place for sexism anywhere, definitely not at our football club. That goes for racism,
Hate,
well, just anything.
religion, race, not got time for any of it, to be honest. And
So-
yeah, I mean, I think he made a comment along the lines of, what would you know, you're a woman? I mean, for God's sake, get with the times, mate.
The club are
Ridiculous.
investigating it. We won't name the female involved, but in all honesty, we have tweeted out. There are photos of him on Twitter, so I think the club probably know who he is, but it's not on, and that is a proper din.
Yeah, he definitely wins.
Dinlo of the week.
So, without further ado, we're going to move on to our most popular feature. Whatever. With our male listeners, and that's Chivs Stat Corner.
Chivs Stat Corner. Everyone likes a good stat.
So, same format as always. I'm going to give you 3 stats, and depending on how impressed you are of them, will depend what sound effect you use.
Well, I've got my 2 buttons. I've got my one for my stats when I like them,
I like that.
and I've got my one for my stats when I don't like.
I'm not interested in that.
So, I'd just like to say my wife is available for voiceover work at a good rate. What are you laughing at?
No, I'm not
Right, so are you ready for your first stat?
I'm ready and eagerly waiting.
Right, let's go then. Stat number 1. Pompey have only been trailing for a total of 229 minutes at home this season, the 3rd best in the league behind only Doncaster and Wycombe.
Still a long time, isn't it? 200 and...
29 minutes in total. It's the 3rd fewest in the whole league.
It's not a surprise that Wycombe are up there with a time-related stat. I'm sorry.
I'm not interested in that.
Gotta say I'm disappointed. I thought I'd get a good one. Okay, fine, whatever. Stat number 2. Pompey have won 4 games this season by 4 goals or more. That's double the amount of times any other team has achieved.
That's a good stat.
I like that.
I was expecting...
Get in.
I was expecting it to be more than... How many times? 4 times?
4 times we've won by 4 goals or more. No other team in the league has achieved that amount.
Why
The
are we top
nearest
of the
is
table?
only 2 times.
That's interesting.
You wouldn't think that though, would you?
No,
When
you
I saw that I thought, I had to go through our
Grimsby,
fixture list and check.
Colchester, Barnet.
And Mansfield.
Oh yeah.
Good stat.
Yep.
Yes, get in.
That's... How many stats you doing? 3?
3. So
So
this
it-
is a decider.
So it's 90th minute corner.
Oh, here we go. I've sent Ford up.
It's 1-1.
I've told Doyle to get back.
Well,
Right,
Michael.
here we go. If matches had finished at half-time this season, Pompey would currently be 5th, Stevenage would be top, followed by Blackpool and Doncaster.
I like that.
I wasn't expecting us to be that high up. I was expecting us to be a lot further down.
I'm glad you liked it.
What?
That's good. I'm really chuffed. So I win 2-1 this week. But Stevenage being top. So if games have finished half time, they'd be top of the league.
But do you know what? Do you know what's interesting? They don't finish at half time. I'm a third.
That's not a stat.
That is a stat.
That's just a stupid
If
comment.
if games finished at 90 minutes, Pompey would be third. Sad.
And this,
stat.
no, this is why you're not allowed to do stats.
I could do stats. You're
You're not doing stats.
Shoot.
So that's my stats for this week. So thank you, Sam. That's a 2-1 victory to me. See you next week.
Chivs Stat Corner. Everyone likes a good stat.
Oh, Kyle Bennett, oh, he is so wonderful. When he scores a goal, oh, it's beautiful, magical. When he runs down the wing, he is fast as lightning. It's frightening, and he makes the boys sing.
Gonna get that going at Hartlepool.
I'm going to try my hardest.
Okay.
We'll get the coach up, Hartlepool.
Oh, when was the last time we got the coach?
Crew away.
Russ, what's that first away game of the season?
No, yeah, first away game, sorry.
0-0.
Yep.
8 coconut all the way.
Yeah, that was fun. If you've never done it, eat coconut on an away day, because what it does, if you eat one chunk of coconut,
multiplies.
it does.
Yeah.
And then you've just got a mouth and you can't swallow. And we had so much fun.
Giggity.
Anyway, let's talk about the Hartlepool match. So we are going up on the coach. We're going to have bags and bags of ticker tape.
Sorry, you meant your.
We're going to have bags and bags of ticker tape.
I'm
to hand
34
out.
years old.
I don't care.
Tearing up blood.
Is that it? Bags and bags of ticker tape. So, how you feeling? Hartlepool away, long journey. This means you can drink. You can't drink usually because you're driving.
No, because if I drink, I'll be pissing every 5 minutes on the coach on the way back.
That's okay because I hear that Luckett's have got really clean toilets, so you're okay. Hartlepool away, what's your thought?
Anyway, Hartlepool away. No, I'm looking forward to it. Last long away day of the season for us. In terms of result, when I planned out the results for us, I reckon we need probably 4 more wins. Maybe 4 more wins and a draw, possibly.
Did you know Doncaster need 2 to win the title?
Yeah,
not to win the title, to come up.
I had Hartlepool away down as a draw.
They drew against us at home.
But it's an away game. Obviously hoping we win, but I think if we drew it, providing we beat Yeovil the following Saturday, that would be a very good return from 3 games. 7 points from 3 games would be very good.
You could say that the other way. You could say if you beat Hartlepool and then get a point at Yeovil.
Yeah, of course you could, but what I'm saying is that it's an away game. You know, a draw would not be the end of the world, but providing we beat Yeovil. But again, we're going out to win every game. Cook is made it clear we're going to win every game. Team news, so we briefly talked about it earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, unchanged other than obviously the injury that Richards Doyle. He's got no reason to change anyone else unless.
So who's coming in then? It's going to be Hunt.
I think it will be Hunt.
Of course it will be Hunt. Away game.
It is.
We need him. He's a little whippet running around up front.
He's
ideal.
He's a pain in the arse.
He's ideal. He'll put their back line under constant pressure. I'd be surprised if it's anyone but him.
So no Nicky Cabran then?
I think he'll be on the bench.
Yeah, I hope so.
I wouldn't start him.
You been to Hartlepool before?
No, I haven't. Never been to Hartlepool.
Hopefully it's
I've
one of
heard
those
fantastic things about it though.
Have you?
No, I haven't. No.
Yeah. Good fish and chips.
Really?
That's up north, isn't it? Always good fish and
Everything's
chips.
up north. Barnet's up north from where we are.
Oh yeah, true. Ryde FC's not north.
Okay. Plymouth's not north.
No, it's a derby.
Inbreds. Current form-wise, I mean, they're plodding along, aren't they? I think they're pretty much safe now.
It's not mathematically.
They're safe. They've got a big enough. They're not going to catch the teams below them. Newport. They're not going to catch that many points. So I'd say they're pretty much safe. I mean, they had a 2-1 defeat to Blackpool at the weekend. No shame in that. Blackpool are the side to fear at the moment. So along with Stevenage, they lost to Wycombe. Oh, Wycombe. The week before. Then they beat Cambridge, lost to Notts County and beat Exeter. So that's their March results. So a mixed bag, 2 wins, 3 losses. I'm confident if we're on our game, we will beat them. I'm quite confident of that.
Well, I hope so. And do you know what, actually thinking about it, you actually won me around. I probably would take a point up there.
So this weekend's fixtures, I mean, obviously we've got Hartlepool away. The teams that we're obviously keeping a close eye on, Blackpool and Luton, they're playing each other.
So someone's obviously going to drop points there.
One of them is definitely going to drop points. So, I mean, what's the best result we can hope for? A draw?
Yeah, I think so.
If anyone's going to win, I'd rather it's Luton. Because Blackpool are on such a good run. We need like Exeter, we need someone just to kick their feet out.
No, I think a draw would be best.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. So draw with that. I mean, Plymouth and Doncaster, I mean, we can pretty much forget them. They're gone. Stevenage have got Barnet at home. Now, Barnet
They've
find
dropped
themselves
away,
mid.
haven't
They have. They've dropped away. But on their day, they're still a shit of a side. A Kindy Pen.
But they're only 8 points outside the playoffs. I mean, they still should be thinking that if they can get a run going, that they can still be up there.
It would be... Every year, we look at the tables and you say that, look, there's 7 games left, 8 points. That's a lot of points to claw back. That's a lot of... It's not just 7 points, so it's not just 2 wins and a draw. You've got to gain 7 additional points on that other team. So they've got to fudge up 3 games.
No 2 teams are going to go and win every game for the rest of the season.
This is why I'm a little, quite confident of our position, because people say, well, look, we are only 6 points. That is still only 2 games worth, but it's 6 points in addition to everyone else. So we'd have to have 2 shockers 2 weeks consecutively, and the team below us would have to have 2 good results to even catch us up. It's never as close as we're paranoid, aren't we? We're keeping a close eye on the table, and it's only 2 results, but we've got to play shock in 2 weeks running, and I'm pretty confident that Cook's not going to let that happen. Even if we have 1 shocker, Saturday we lose to Hartlepool, shocker, I'm convinced we would then bounce back and beat Yeovil.
Well, that would be out of form, wouldn't it? Because at the moment we're going 2-3 games on a win, then we drop points, i.e. Stevenage. So we've got a couple more wins in us based on previous form before we drop more points.
Well, exactly. I still think 4 wins and a draw, or even 3 wins and 2 draws might be enough. But you can't account for a team storming. I mean, we know Stevenage are storming up, and Blackpool have now hit a run of form. But we've just got to keep going. Take 1 week at a time, 1 match at a time, and I'm sure Cook is having this approach. Keep ticking off the points, keep ticking off the matches. And even if we don't win, try and hope that the other teams don't, and we maintain the gap. It's all about maintaining the gap. And before you know it, I mean, even now, you're going to end up with 4 games left and a 6-point gap, and that just puts so much pressure on the teams below us. That's where we want to be. 6 points clear with 4 games to go. That puts immense pressure on the playoff teams to chase us, because they can't slip up.
Slowly but surely, we're crawling across the line.
We need to be confident. We need to back the boys. Try not to get too nervous in the stands.
It's going to be a good atmosphere. All that distance, it's going to be a really good atmosphere.
Yeah, and there's going to be less expectation.
And we're going to drink, because we can drink.
Yeah, I might have a J2O.
Well, I've got a 3-point plan for Hartlepool. Lots and lots of ticker tape. A new Kyle Bennett song. And 3 points. How's that sound?
That sounds great. Let's see how it goes. So that's the end of our podcast for this week. Thank you very much for those of you who have joined us. Special thanks to Jake for doing the Pompey quiz. You can follow us on Twitter at Pompey Memes. We're also on YouTube and Facebook as Pompey Memes, so give us a like and a follow on there. And let's hope for 3 points on Saturday, and we'll see you again in a couple of weeks.
See you later.
I'm blue,